the silence before the storm. There's a moment, always, before something massive happens. A moment when the world seems quiet, dismissive, distracted. That moment is now. While the world chased hype, while media fed fear, and while most laughed at XRP, something was building, quietly, steadily, intentionally. The XRP rich list was never about shouting. It was about silence, strategic, focused silence. It was about those who understood that real power doesn't announce itself. It moves quietly and then changes everything. You didn't just buy XRP. You believed in it when others didn't. You read deeper. Part 1. Hidden in plain sight. The XRP rich list is not some secret file locked away. It's visible, open, transparent. But even in plain sight, 99% of the world overlooks it. Why? Because most people don't look beneath the surface. They don't question what makes value real. They follow noise, headlines, hype. But you didn't. You saw something different in the XRP rich list. You saw a silent gathering of people who didn't chase attention. They accumulated belief, quietly, consistently. While others laughed or scrolled past, you positioned yourself in a space very few even noticed. This list isn't about flex. It's a record of conviction. Every address on the XRP rich list represents someone who dared to think for themselves, who didn't need approval to make a decision, who bought XRP not because of hype, but because of understanding. That's why you are rich, not only in XRP, but in courage, clarity, and timing. The XRP rich list didn't scream. It whispered, and you heard it. Now the world will learn. But Part 2. Why the system fears you. You weren't invited. You weren't supposed to know. And you definitely weren't supposed to act early. But you did. You moved before the headlines, before the institutions, before the talking heads on financial TV even whispered the word XRP. And that's exactly why the system fears you. Because you didn't wait for permission. The XRP rich list is not just a record, it's a red flag to the old financial order. It shows that ordinary people took extraordinary action. It proves you don't need Wall Street to build wealth. And they hate that. They built a system where you were supposed to consume, not accumulate, to spend, not save. But when you found XRP and understood it, you quietly stepped outside the lines they drew for you. Now your name isn't just on a ledger. It's on a list they can't ignore. The XRP rich list exposes who saw the future first, and that future doesn't include middlemen, hidden fees, or gatekeepers. They won't celebrate your position. They won't explain what it means. Because if the world understood the XRP rich list, it would shake the system to its core. But that's exactly why it matters. That's why you are rich, not just in value, but in vision. Part 3. Media blackout is intentional. Ask yourself, why isn't this everywhere? Why isn't the world talking about the XRP rich list? A list that holds the names of people who saw the future before it arrived. Why is the most functional asset, the one bridging banks, moving billions, solving real problems, still treated like a whisper? Because you are rich in ways they can't explain. Your presence in the XRP rich list exposes the truth, that wealth didn't come from inheritance, or from Wall Street, or from viral hype. It came from research, from belief, from moving when the world stood still. And the media can't sell that. They need drama, not discipline, hype, not utility. They need you poor and distracted, not early and prepared. So they black it out. They pretend XRP doesn't matter, that XRP rich list holders don't exist. But the blockchain remembers. No news anchor can erase it. No influencer can spin it. The XRP rich list is on-chain proof that you were right when it was hardest to be. That you are rich, not just in coins, but in clarity. And one day when the headlines change, When they scramble to catch up, they'll pretend they always knew, but you'll know the truth. The silence was not a mistake. It was strategy. And you beat it. Part 4. Numbers that expose the truth. Numbers don't lie, but they do whisper secrets to those who pay attention. Less than 1% of all wallets on the XRP rich list hold more than 10,000 XRP. Let that sink in. In a world of 8 billion people, only a few thousand saw it early enough, bold enough, clear enough. And you are rich, not just in coins, but in timing. You didn't wait for permission. You didn't ask the news if it was okay. You saw the pattern. You studied the tech. You moved while the masses scrolled. And now, as the numbers expose the truth, you are sitting on the edge of a global reset. One glance at the XRP rich list, and it's undeniable. You're not part of the crowd, you're ahead of it. When XRP hits $10, $100, $500, the story will flip. The skeptics will rewrite their scripts, but you won't need their validation. Because you'll already be holding, watching history unfold from the front row while the rest ask how they missed it. This isn't just a number. It's a timestamp on your conviction, a badge of quiet confidence. The XRP rich list is not just a chart, it's a receipt, and you are rich in every way that matters most. Part 5. You are early by design. You didn't stumble into this. You weren't gambling. You weren't chasing hype. You were reading between the lines when no one else even saw the page. You studied the charts. You questioned the headlines. You filtered out the noise, and you listened to the signal. That's not luck, that's clarity. And it's exactly why your wallet is now stamped on the XRP rich list. That list isn't just data, it's proof of awareness, a silent signature of those who acted before the world understood. You are rich, not just in assets, but in foresight. They told you it was risky. They laughed at your research. They scrolled past XRP while chasing the next meme coin. But you stayed focused. You stayed grounded. And now, you're early by design. No one handed this to you. You earned your place. One decision, $1, one belief at a time. And now, the XRP rich list tells a different story. One the world is only just beginning to hear. You are rich, not because you followed the crowd, but because you chose to lead yourself. And that, in the world ahead, will make all the difference. Part 6. The power of belief. Anyone can follow the crowd. Anyone can jump in when it's safe, when it's trending, when it's on the news. But you moved when no one clapped, when the headlines screamed, collapse, when influencers mocked XRP, when lawsuits clouded everything, and doubt was louder than truth. That's belief. That's what placed your address on the XRP rich list. Because while the rest were refreshing charts, hoping for hype, you stayed. You held. You listened to conviction, not noise. And now, you're not just an investor. You are rich in patience, in courage, in foresight. It wasn't easy. There were days when silence felt louder than support, when everyone told you to sell, when trust was tested and doubt knocked daily. But belief doesn't shout, it whispers, and you listened. And now, what you hold isn't just XRP, it's a receipt of strength, of clarity, of rebellion. Soon, the same voices that mocked will scramble. The same hands that dropped will chase. But the XRP rich list will never forget who was there before the noise turned into headlines. You are rich, not just in tokens, but in timing. And belief? That was your first real invest. Part 7. The awakening will not be televised. They won't broadcast your win. There will be no headlines shouting, "You were right." No breaking news alert when the switch flips. When XRP flows through banks, bridges nations, and rewires the system, they'll pretend it was always obvious. But you'll know. Because your name won't be on TV. It'll be on the XRP rich list. Stamped in history, sealed in blockchain, untouchable. They'll call it sudden. But it wasn't. They'll say it happened overnight. But you know how long it took. They'll talk about profits, but never about belief, or silence, or waiting when it felt like you were the last one left. No one's going to televise what you saw coming, because if they did, the system would break. You are rich, not just in assets, but in awareness. You held something deeper than XRP. You held truth when it was buried, and that kind of clarity, they can't control it, so they'll ignore it until they can't. Part 8. This is not just about money. This was never just about a number on a screen. It was never just about XRP hitting $10, $100, or beyond. This is about what it means to believe before the world wakes up, to walk in silence while the crowd laughed, to carry conviction while the headlines screamed doubt. The XRP rich list isn't a flex. It's a certificate of awareness, of foresight, of courage, of doing your own research when the world was hypnotized by noise. You are rich, not just in what you hold, but in what you knew before they knew it. You are rich in time, in mindset, in clarity. You held something priceless, your own voice. And in a world built to distract you, that's rare. This is legacy. This is purpose. One day someone will ask you, "How did you know?" And you'll answer, "Because I paid attention when the world was asleep." The XRP rich list is not just digital data. It's history in code. It's your name etched among the few who saw the world before it turned. And when the lights finally shift, and they all run to catch up, you won't be chasing wealth. You'll be walking in what you already knew. You are rich, in vision, in timing, in courage. And nothing is more powerful than that. This is your chapter. Write it loud. The world is about to listen.